The video captures a severe collision at a controlled railway crossing where warning lights were flashing and barriers were actively closing. Despite the clear danger, a cyclist deliberately ignored the warnings and proceeded onto the tracks. A high-speed train immediately arrived and violently struck the cyclist. This catastrophic failure highlights that mandatory safety protocols strictly prohibit ignoring active warnings or bypassing barriers at rail crossings. Strict adherence to stopping and waiting for all signals to clear is absolutely essential to prevent devastating collisions.
The footage shows an individual, a woman, running or aggressively proceeding across the active rail line without yielding to oncoming rail traffic. The train is seen rapidly approaching and narrowly misses colliding with the woman, who quickly clears the path just as the locomotive passes. This reckless decision and failure to yield the right-of-way created an immediate and extreme blunt impact and crush hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand all individuals stop, look, and listen before approaching or crossing any railway line. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safety procedures, requiring the public to wait for trains to fully pass and the clearance path to be safe to prevent devastating collisions. The video captures a severe collision between a high-speed train and a cyclist at a rail crossing. The footage shows a cyclist attempting to cross the tracks without yielding to the oncoming train. The high-speed train rapidly approaches and violently impacts the cyclist and their bicycle, sending the person and bicycle forcefully away from the tracks. The incident suggests the individual was fortunate to avoid severe harm. This catastrophic failure to yield the right-of-way created an immediate and extreme blunt impact and crush hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand all individuals stop, look, and listen before approaching or crossing any railway line. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safety procedures, requiring full vigilance to prevent devastating collisions. The footage shows a motorcyclist attempting to cross the tracks. The motorcyclist appears to misjudge the speed or distance of the approaching train and enters the train's path. The train rapidly approaches and violently impacts the motorcycle, causing the vehicle and rider to be thrown clear of the tracks. This catastrophic failure to yield the right-of-way created an immediate and extreme blunt impact and crush hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand all drivers and riders stop, look, and listen before proceeding across any railway line. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safety procedures, requiring full vigilance and respecting the train's right-of-way to prevent devastating collisions. The footage shows an individual, a man, attempting to board or disembark from a moving train at a platform. The man loses his footing and is dragged or pulled dangerously close to the gap between the train and the platform edge. A uniformed officer, appears to be a soldier or railway police, immediately rushes forward and forcibly pulls the individual away from the moving train and back onto the safety of the platform. This catastrophic lapse in safety protocol created an immediate and extreme crushing and shearing hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand all passengers never attempt to board or exit a train while it is in motion. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safety procedures and platform discipline to prevent devastating entanglement and fall-related injuries. The video shows an overhead crane operating in an industrial setting, lifting a substantial load. The wire rope or cable supporting the heavy weight abruptly snaps or breaks. The heavy load immediately falls in an uncontrolled manner toward the ground, narrowly missing a nearby worker. This catastrophic equipment failure created an immediate and extreme blunt impact, crush, and projectile hazard for personnel and property below. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand rigorous pre-use inspection of all load-bearing components, especially wire ropes and rigging, in overhead crane operations. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safety procedures requiring clear lift paths and exclusion zones to prevent devastating injuries from dropped loads. The footage captures a severe collision between a train and a vehicle at a rail crossing. The video shows a vehicle, likely a car, attempting to cross the tracks. The driver appears to have severely misjudged the speed or distance of the approaching train and proceeded directly into its path. The train rapidly approaches and violently impacts the vehicle, causing a massive collision. The force of the impact sends the vehicle spinning and tumbling away from the rail line. This catastrophic failure to yield the right-of-way created an immediate and extreme blunt impact and crush hazard. The footage shows a small truck, pickup or light vehicle, stuck directly on the active rail line. A train is rapidly approaching at high speed. Suddenly, an individual, a man, rushes to the truck and manually pushes the vehicle off the tracks. The man then manages to jump clear of the tracks just moments before the train roars past. This quick and decisive action prevented a catastrophic failure to clear the right-of-way, which would have created an immediate and extreme blunt impact and crush hazard. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly prohibit driving onto tracks without ensuring a clear path and emphasizes the necessity of extreme vigilance and quick action in emergencies near rail lines. The footage shows a stroller, pram, positioned near the platform edge, appearing to be unoccupied, without an infant. The stroller begins to roll forward and falls from the platform edge, landing directly onto the rail tracks. Simultaneously, a high-speed train rapidly approaches and passes over the stroller's location. This uncontrolled entry into the rail right-of-way created an immediate and extreme crushing hazard, and the lack of an occupant averted a potential tragedy. This serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand all strollers and wheeled luggage be securely braked and kept well behind the safety line on all station platforms. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safety procedures and full vigilance to prevent devastating platform and track incidents. The footage shows workers operating near large vats or containers of chemical substances. A chemical reaction or process rapidly escalates beyond control, causing a sudden and violent emission of material, flames, or steam. The incident creates an immediate and extreme chemical exposure, thermal burn, and explosion/fire hazard, forcing personnel to evacuate rapidly. This catastrophic safety failure serves as a critical warning that mandatory safety protocols strictly demand rigorous control, containment, and monitoring of all chemical processes. It emphasizes the absolute necessity of strict adherence to safety procedures, including the proper use of specialized personal protective equipment, PPE, and emergency shutdown procedures to prevent devastating industrial chemical incidents.